Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do another look using the Kat Von D Saint and Center palette. So here is what the palette looks like if you're not familiar. The palette is a fairly large palette, to be honest with you, like the size of my hand. Like you could probably do two of these, but it's probably about two times the size of my hands. So the palette itself does have two mirrors in here. I'm sure you guys have seen this already. And then here are the colors that are inside of this palette. I know a lot of people are confused still by using this palette, so that's why I wanted to do these different looks using this palette, so there kind of gives you some ideas that it's not crazy as you think it is. I did find where someone actually took and put these in like a certain order. If I can find that picture, I'll stick it in here so that there you guys can get an idea of like maybe if you're confused by like the color, the way that they've laid this out, the layout of this. So if maybe that's what's messing you up, maybe that might help you a little bit. So I'll throw that picture in here if I can find it. So anyway, we're going to do a daytime appropriate look today. So I'm going to start by priming my eyelids. And you guys know I use my MAC Painterly Paint Pot. I know MAC is not cruelty free, but this is a product that I already have in my collection. So I'm just going to use it up. So I figure why throw it away when it's a perfectly fine product. So, okay, I'm going to prime my lids. And what I'm going to do is I need to grab a cloth here. Wipe my fingers off. I'm going to grab my little sponge and I'm just going to dab that in. Just make sure that it's blended out nice and evenly all over my lid. I think I might have put a little too much on this lid here. You guys know, look, I'm not a professional makeup artist. I'm just a mom who likes makeup. I think that's what most of us are though, honestly. I think we all just like makeup and we like to play with it and we like to figure out ways to use it. So that's why I thought it'd be good to kind of do these different looks using this palette. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually lay down a base shade. So I'm going to go in this palette right here and I'm going to use the shade Amen. And I'm going to dab my brush into that. I'm using the Tarte little, it's the brush that's like a little bit twisted. So I'm using that brush. So I'm going to go in here and do that. And I'm just going to lay this color down. I basically do the same thing almost every time using this palette with that color. I use that as like my color that I lay down to set my primer. So I'm going to go in and get a little bit more and do the other eye. So here is the other eye. You guys said that you didn't mind that they were long and chatty, so I'm going to stick with that. We're just going to do these different looks individually. That way there, if you kind of only want one look out of it, you want more of a daytime appropriate look, you can go for that. If you want more of the fun look, you can go for that. And then I'm going to do a night look as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and go into Martyr. And Martyr is this like almost like a brown shade right here. I'm going to go into that shade. And I'm just going to tap off a little bit. And I'm going to start transitioning that into my crease. I'm just going to set that all over. I'm going to transition that up. These shadows don't take very much to blend out, so they're not very hard to blend out, which is really, really good. So if you're someone who doesn't want to spend a lot of time blending, I don't feel like they take that long, in my opinion. So I think as long as you set your lids and you go ahead and put a nice base down, then you're fine. Okay, so now I'm going to go back into Martyr and do the other eye. And we're going to grab it over here. Put that color in. Use that as my transition type of shade. So this is more of a daytime appropriate look, so I feel like we need to kind of stay a little bit more neutral with this. Something that you feel like you could wear to work and you're not going to feel like, oh gosh, everybody's looking at me because my eye makeup looks like Mimi from Drew Carey. So that's my goal, is to use a little bit more less colorful things in this palette. So if you only wanted a daytime appropriate one, then this could work. But we're still going to make it look pretty, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use a smaller brush. I'm going to use my, where's my smaller brush? Here it is. It's my Sigma. This is the Sigma Small Tapered Blending Brush. I'm going to use this brush right here. And I'm going to go down to Crucifix. And Crucifix is just like a deeper shade of brown. So this is more of like a camel color brown. And this is like a deeper shade of brown, almost a black. So I'm going to go into there. And I'm just going to tap off. And then this, I'm just going to use that to deepen up the outer V just a little bit. And then bring that up into the crease. Just enough so where it's not going to be smoky, but it's going to give you some definition in your eye. So I'm going to go back into that And then we'll blend all this together a little bit. Okay. I'm going to bring it out just a tad and bring it up. And there that is. Okay, so far this is how the eye looks looking right now. We have just those 2 shades of brown, and then we have our eyelid set. Now I'm going to go in with a nice fluffy brush. I'm going to use this, I'm going to use my color switch. I'm going to use this brush here by Royal and Langnickel, the Moda brush. I don't think this one's labeled anything. Actually, it is. It's the crease brush. So I'm just going to go in with that, and I'm going to kind of blend these together because you want this to be more muted. You don't want a very bold look for your daytime appropriate look. So I'm just going to blend. We're going to blend till our fingers fall off. No, let's not blend that long. I'm going to need our fingers to open a bottle of wine or something later. After a long day at work. Okay, so I'm just going to blend this one. Blend, blend, blend. Okay, so that is simple enough, and it still looks not super smoky or anything. And then we're going to clean the brush off again using the color switch, and then I'm just going to come up here and just kind of blend this out a little bit more, just enough to make it look a little bit more muted out. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Blend. And then now I'm going to go ahead and do my brow bone highlight. My ears are super, super red today. Like, they're on fire red. My grandmother used to tell me that it was because somebody was talking about you. My doctor says it's because I have a fever. I don't know what it is, honestly. I just know that they're really red and they're on fire, honestly. I was trying to hide them, but whew, they're hot. They need to breathe. Now I'm going to go up into Amen again, just because I'm going to use that to set my brow bone highlight, because I kind of want to just emphasize that just a little bit. So that's all I'm going to do is to set my highlight. That's a very matte shade. I think matte shades work really well for brow bone highlights, especially if you have hooded eyes. So I'm going to go in here and do that again. Alright, so there that is. Now we're going to go ahead and find ourselves a shade to throw into the lid, because we want to kind of stick with neutrals. So we don't want to be bold or anything. So we're going to go into Revelation, which is a brownish color. And then we're going to use Revelation, and then we're going to bring it into Ashes. So Revelation and Ashes is what we're going to use. So I'm going to go in with my flat shader brush, which is a ColourPop brush. Because I don't want this super pigmented. I want it a little bit more muted out. So if I went in with my fingertip and it wet, then it would make it a little bit more like pigmented. So I'm just going to use this flat shader brush. I just want a little bit of color right here. Tap it off. And I'm going to start right there like that, just to give it a little bit of sparkle into my eyelid. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, using that same shade. The sparkles in this are not super noticeable, so I don't know if you can even tell that. Like, they're not very noticeable, which is good if you don't want it super, super sparkly daytime look. Now I'm going to clean my brush off again, and now we're going to go in using that lighter brown shade. So now we're going to use Ashes, which is right here. It does have a little bit of reflect to it, so it does have some sparkles in there. But like I said, if you're using your brush, I don't feel like they show up quite as well as they do if you use your finger, so I wouldn't be so worried about that. And there that is. And I'm bringing it back, you can tell, because I'm trying to blend these two together a little bit. And then now we're going to go in and blend everything all together again. And then all we've got to do is finish up, because that's basically it for the browns that we're doing on our eyelid. It's not a whole lot of definition between everything, but it's enough to where you can still tell that there's different colors on your eyelids, which is what you want. You want to be able to tell there's different colors, but you don't want it to look crazy or anything, because like I said, this is something that you want to be able to wear to work. And if you have an office where they don't allow like loud makeup or anything, you don't want to be super loud with your makeup. Okay. And there we go. Now I'm going to, as far as my lash line, I'm going to go in using my, this is the Brow Gal thing that came from Tanya Crooks. It's got the spoolie on one end. I'm going to use that to actually do my lash line today. And I'm going to use the Crucifix color right there, the brown shade. I don't want to use black because it's a daytime appropriate look, so I want to go in with more of a lighter, more daytime appropriate shade. So I'm going to use my mirror here, and I'm going to just take it along the lash line. Have you guys used your 20% off coupon from Ulta? I did. I got some goodies. I'm going to be hauling those soon. Hopefully you guys don't get sick of Get Ready's with me, because that's basically what I'm going to be doing, a lot of those for a while, just so I can get through all these different palettes that I promised you guys different looks with. So, and then hopefully I can come up with some new different ways to do some different eye looks. Dip back into that. I'm not going in super bold. Just enough to give myself a little bit more definition on my lashes. So there is how that turned out, as you can see. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and close the book up, and I'm going to go ahead and conceal under my eyes. I was going to say close under my eyes. Conceal, I'm going to use the Urban Decay Naked Skin. This one's almost empty too. You guys, my big one's almost empty. I'm going to have to be buying another one of these. I'm so thankful that Urban Decay is at least cruelty free. That makes me happy. Okay. I'm just going to dab that all under here. I always kind of look up and then look down, just to help make sure that it goes in everywhere where it needs to go. And then I'm going to make sure I get right there in the corner, or just in case I have any kind of boo-boos that are going on. So clean those up. And this brown really makes my eyes look super green. Or blue. I don't know which it is. I don't know if they look blue or green. In my mirror they look green, and the camera they look blue, so it's weird. Okay, so there is my eyelids, my under eye, and then here's my broken little It Cosmetics. I do have a new one on the way, so it better arrive soon, because this thing is just about, she's had it. I thought I had ordered it with my Ulta 20% off coupon, but I didn't. So now I'm going to have to order it a different way. I think I'm just going to order it through Sephora so I can get it here fast, because this thing is starting to eat up my sponges and everything. Because it's broken. It was so broken the other day that like pieces were falling out. Now it's just a little bit left on the rim of it. Okay, now I'm going to do my lash line and then my lashes. For my lashes, I'm going to go ahead and curl them quick using the little lash curler. So I'm just going to do a quick curl. And they're curled. Now I'm going to use this Tarte mascara that I got in my Ipsy, or was it Ipsy? Yeah, my Ipsy. So this is the this is the Tarte Lifted, the Sweatproof mascara, which is really weird. I'm like, what? Sweatproof mascara. That's interesting. And this is brown, so that works out great too, so it makes it even more daytime appropriate. So it's not so bold like a black would typically be. Touch out this mascara, see if it's any good. You guys have to tell me what you think of it. I'll get closer so you can see it going on. It's not too shabby. Oh, I got it on my eyelid. I'll have to clean that up. Every darn time. That's not too shabby though, guys. What do you think of it? I'm not hating it. Just making sure you can see, because I'm sure I'm not like putting the mirror right up in front of you. Okay, I'm going to go back in for a second coat. Oh yeah, that gives you lots of length. And a volume. Pretty good. What does it smell like? It smells a little plasticky, but not bad. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry and then I'll clean up my eyelids there. And I'm just going to do a little bit of work on my lower lash line. Nothing dramatic. I don't want it to be, like I said, this is more of a daytime look, so you don't want to go too dramatic. So I'm just going to go back in with my same little brush that I used, the Tanya Crooks one. Is it Tanya Crooks? Yep, Tanya Crooks. I'm like, that sounds not right. So I'm going to go back into Martyr over here. And I'm just going to basically give myself just a little bit of brown right here in the bottom. And then a little bit over here. And that is it for that part. Okay, so once that dries, I'm going to actually, let's do a little bit of a brow bone, not brow bone, but an inner corner highlight. So I'm just going to barely tap in. I'm going to go into Absolution. I'm just going to barely tap in there and barely put just a little bit there. And rub a little bit away, because I don't want it to be super bold or anything. I just want it to be just enough, just a hint of color right there. Okay, so there that is. Now I just need to clean my eyelids up. Let me grab a Q-tip back here. Grab this little container. And we got a Q-tip. Now I'm going to clean my eyelids up and then we're done. So all I do to clean my eyelids up is I wait for the mascara to dry. Ooh, this mascara is kind of hard to remove. Typically if I just wipe like this, it comes right off. Huh. It wants to be a little bit of a pain in the patookus. Alright, let me get the other side. Where I got mascara that doesn't belong. And that is it. Alright, so that is my daytime appropriate look. You guys will have to let me know what you think of it. And of course my hair is actually done today, believe it or not. I actually curled it. So it looks kind of done. It's a little bit flat right now. So anyway, this is the daytime appropriate look that I came up with. Let me know what you think of this. Let me know if this is pretty much what you guys were kind of hoping for with these little get readies with me with these different eyeshadow palettes, or if you want them combined. Again, I don't mind changing up the way we're doing it. We'll probably finish this one out by doing another extra look. And then if you want the next palette that I'm going to do, which will be the Marc Jacobs one, if you want that one done where it's like combined and just shorter, let me know. I can do it that way too. Anyway, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts or your opinions on whether or not this would be something that you would wear to work too. Would this be a good enough daytime appropriate eye look for you? Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later.